Good. So I'm here today to explain you in my field of expertise, which is maritime data gathering, hydrospatial exploration, how autonomous ship has revolutionized the way we work. So first, an introduction on what is hydrospatial. Hydrospatial is anything related to the maritime domain. It's the counterpart of geospatial data. So hydrospatial deals with the cartography of the seabed, the habitat mapping, water column, navigation, species, etc. Now we will explain how the use of unscrewed surface vessel can revolutionize the data gathering. By taking human being out of the equation and building autonomous ship that gives you the capacity to develop a shape which is purpose-made for data acquisition to improve the navigation, like on sailboat, and not being purpose-made for a stable platform to accommodate human being on the ship. So you end up with a very wave-piercing shape, reducing the environmental noise to improve the acoustic feedback from your senses. And you have an illustration here in this video that was taken at 6.5 that represents a wave height of roughly 2.5 to 3 meter maximum wave height. This day, you can see the top of the mast is disappearing behind the waves, so more than 2.5 meter high. And you could see on the just before the quality of the data acquisition. On this day, all the data collected at 30 meter water depth was acceptable according to the highest standards for a bathymetric survey. In this kind of weather condition, I used to be a hydrographer working at sea. You would not have collected data from a vessel smaller than 80 meter long. So typically, most of the survey ships are 40 to 60 meter long. They would not be working at 6.5. The second pillar of autonomy, you're freeing the shape for having the best shape for navigation and data gathering. And then the second pillar is autonomous navigation. And for that, we are merging the information from various environmental sensors, LiDAR, laser scanner, camera, infrared camera, radar, and AIS to optimize the course of navigation and avoid any obstacles. You have an illustration of an AIS detection here, some radar detection of navigation buoys, and an unexpected fishing boat, most likely, crossing the route of navigation. In gray, it's the route which is given for instructions to the drone. There's no pilot behind the wheel. It's really autonomous navigation. We call it supervised autonomy. So the system has an objective, a route to follow, and then it will adapt depending on the sensors, the route, and the heading. So it complies with the highest standards for anti-collision, so the collision regulation. And this was taken in Manama, in port of Bahrain, just a year ago. Now I have a focus on how it has revolutionized the way we gather data. I took an example of a large-scale hydrographic survey. You were in Canada, you were in a very challenging maritime environment with an average sea state of 4, that means average wave height of 1.5 to 2 meter wave height. You work even in the summertime, but even in summertime you get strong gales and this kind of weather. You have permanent tidal currents of up to 2.5 knots, extremely bad visibility. And this is typically what could be applied here in the UAE. Long duration projects, more than 60 days at sea to collect 650 square kilometer survey. You have an example of the remote supervision. as it was all operated from France, the drone in Canada, and the control from France through satellites. Of course, we benefit of satellite communication solutions like Starlink or here Iridium, but we can also be based on GPRS mobile phone when it's available. And the results of this survey, when I used to operate this kind of ship, it would have taken me 20% more survey time, 80 days instead of 60, with a much higher weather downtime. And what you can see is the carbon footprint of the project. We observed from the figures 98% saving with a dedicated survey platform compared to a vessel of opportunity. Another saving which is very important when working in a, let's say, civil engineering or oil and gas industry is the saving in man-hours to risk exposure. Human being is not made to work at sea. Sea is a risky environment. We want, as managers of this team, to reduce their risk exposure. And we observe that operating autonomous ship, you will have some time at sea for the recovery or for some maintenance. On this 60 days project, we observed 180 hours of operation at sea with human being on support vessels. With this vessel, considering the crew and the survey crew, you end up with 15,000 hours of human being working at sea. Another very high improvement is for civil engineering, inspection of 80 wind turbines. We are in an offshore wind farm area, so very restricted area. Anti-collision and the safety of assets is crucial. And we operated our drone from port, the nearest port, to port. No support vessel on this project. All operated from a control center, which is located about 1,000 kilometers away from the field. 80 wind turbine, small boxes to run. When it would have taken about 6 days with a high weather downtime for a conventional ship, and this is the figures from a ship working actually on offshore wind farm inspection, it has taken us 35 hours, including transit in and out from the wind farm. Again, you can feel the saving in carbon footprint, 99% saving with 0.2 equivalent of CO2 ton compared to 23.4. It's a technology which is expanding quickly. We have more than 20 systems working worldwide today for various clients. We operate 3 and 4 in the company, and we have built about 30 platforms today. And you can see that it's not restricted to high advanced countries like the supporting civil engineering in Europe. As we have performed one of our first projects in Tonga Island, we've been operating in oil field in Caspian Sea, and for military application also in Bahrain. The field of kind of missions to which we are involved today is increasing as well, as we've been operating fish stock assessment by equipping the rigs with the right sonar for fish stock assessment and water column observations. Another kind of mission, AUV and ROV positioning, that is supporting a secondary asset that will go deeper for higher resolution inspection. It's how the two kinds of autonomy can benefit from each other. Third kind of mission as a force multiplier for conventional oceanographic ship. We are conscious that today this kind of 8-meter long ship is purpose-built for seabed mapping, for seabed positioning, etc. But considering the missions of grab sampling, coring, ROV deployment, today it's not purpose-built for that. So we are operated as a force multiplier to support large oceanographic missions. And that's kind of operation in which we've been involved, maybe more into the military market, but it can also be applied to the civilian security, to secure the route of navigation, it's to use forward-looking sonar to secure the channel of navigations, fairways. So we've been in few minutes explaining how the cooperation with autonomous ship can revolutionize the way we commonly collect hydrospatial data. So as the motto, greener, better, and safer, and faster way to collect data. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you.